What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for rocking with me. I want to answer a question directly that indirectly I have kind of touched on before, but I never went straight in to address this question. A young lady, I believe it was on Instagram, seemed to be in her late 20s, early 30s, presented the question, what happened to the men of today? She noticed that the men of today don't move, behave, so on and so forth. Not even just about finances, just in how men move. Men of today do not move the way men in her grandfather's day moved. And she wanted to know what happened. And so, of course, as always, if I look in the comment section, women want to jump in there and try to give their opinion in the most negative way that they can of what they feel like happened to men. We're not real men. We're not this. We're not that. They want to interject. Y'all women know how y'all let's not kid ourselves and let's not play. Y'all know how y'all like to interject without sometimes applying the full logic. So what I want to do as a man, as the one that she's asking the question to, of course anybody can answer it, but I feel that if you're going to ask about a man should answer the question. So I want to do that on this video. What happened to the men today? Why are they different from the men in the days of the grandfathers and the great grandfathers? If you had a recipe that was passed down to you from your grandmother on how to make a particular type of cake, more than likely it's going to have some base ingredients in it: eggs, flour, baking soda, sugar, butter, milk, so on and so forth. If you were somehow not paying attention, talking about to the women here, and I know there's men that cook too, babe. If you were somehow not paying attention, let's say you was on the phone chopping it with your homegirl about how your man came home, took his shoes off, and funkified the whole place because his feet smell so rotten. You ain't really talking bad about it. You know, y'all just like the kiki and ha ha. Girl, I had to use some of my best perfume and get girl, I guess I gotta wash his feet tonight, girl. You know how y'all do. And then you're joking around and playing, you forgot to put the eggs in the pan to whip it all up. You didn't mean to, but just life. You laugh and you keep keying, you put everything in there, got the eggs, put it in the oven. When you took it out, no matter how it looked, it ain't gonna taste like cake. When you took it out, at the same time you took out all the other cakes that you made for all the other holidays, birthdays. When you took it out, no matter how it looked, you can spread that chocolate covering all on it. It ain't gonna taste the same because there was an ingredient that was very important. I'm going somewhere that you left out in that cake. And that cake is not going to taste like the other 30 cakes that you made in your lifetime. When you look at the grandfathers and the great grandfathers, pay attention to this because I'm going to give you the answer pretty much in one statement, in one sentence. Your father was raised by his grandfather. Your grandfather was raised by your great grandfather. So on up. In other words, men were molded by a chain of male influence in their life. If you 30, 40, 50 years old right now, if you a Gen X, particularly like me, a good portion of us still had our fathers with us. Some didn't though. But your father more than likely had his father around to even a better degree, and his father definitely. So these men, there's a chain of men being molded by men. So when you look at your grandfather, you're looking at a man who has had in his life a heavy influence of his own father and males in his life. Remember that. When you look at the men, the modern men, and I'm talking about those who come after Gen X. So you talking anybody born after what, 81? 81, 82, somewhere in there? Any man born after that, the majority, 70% in the black community of modern men was raised by a woman. I'm not blaming women. This ain't that video. I'm telling you what the missing ingredient is. I'm not blaming women. The modern man in the black community in particular was 70% was raised by a woman who did the best she could. She taught values. She taught her son discipline. She taught her son how to respect her, his sister, and women. Hopefully, I'm talking about the good women now. But what she cannot do is transfer masculinity into her son. I'm talking about the missing ingredient now. There is a core system that comes when you have a a masculine man in the home, that he's able to pull out of a young man the masculinity that's going to pull him to being that kind of man. I remember getting up on a Saturday morning wanting to go play basketball at 9:30 in the morning. And while I'm putting on my clothes and I'm getting my shoes out, my dad, knowing what I wanted to do, he heard me on the phone downstairs telling the boys what we're about to do. He would wait down there by the door and say, before you go, because I know you won't be back till the lights come on the street lights. Before you go, we're going to change and rotate the 4 tires on my Pontiac Bonneville. Of course, I'm hot. I'm hot because I think I'm the star of that. I'm hot. Damn, why you? But what you say? You always wait till the last. But who you talking to? And for the next hour or so, I'm out there jacking up the car, taking off the lug nuts, go to the next one, put it on the stand, go to the next one, rotate them out, so on and so forth. That is the influence of a masculine man teaching me in one moment several things that a woman, no matter what she do, is not able to teach. He's pulling out of me at 14 and 15 that which it would take for me to be a man. He's teaching me how to be responsible. He's teaching me what's important in life. Basketball ain't important, son. There's a time for that. And a month from now, I'm going to set you up. I'm talking about how he think. He ain't saying this out loud. A month from now, you're going to get ready to go play baseball. And I'm going to tell you, you're going to change the brakes first. And 2 months after that, you're going to get ready to go play football. And I'm going to tell you, you're going to change the oil first. And 3 months after that, you're going to get ready to go do something else. And I'm going to teach you how to know when the thermostat has gone bad. Those are just little examples. Military. A lot of the grandfathers, they had a patriotic spirit. They wanted discipline. They worked at one place 30, 40 years, at a Ford place, at a GM plant, 35 years. Hard work at a steel mill every day. Teaching your father how to be a man, how to provide, how to protect, how to have resources, what's important. As good as women, and they have to do what they have to do because maybe the man goes away and wants no part of her or the child's life, and so she is forced, if she keeps the child, when we're thankful for those that do, she is forced to try to do it on her own, but her best efforts by nature can only go so far. So you see, today's men are emotionally reactive. Who does that sound like to you? You see, today's men avoid conflict. Who does that sound like to you? You see, today's men seek validation. Who does that sound like to you? Because the home that they was raised in was a home that vibrated out, I would teach you and raise you to feel. That's emotion. That's validation. That's knowing I don't want to get involved in this conflict. That's trying to keep peace all the time, even though peace has to be made. It don't just show up. That's an action word. Blessed are the peacekeepers. Somebody, anyway. The modern men are raised to feel. They're not raised to lead. Because that energy to lead comes from a man. That's why I advocate all single mothers. The younger you can do it, the better off you will be. Even if that man goes, the baby, the father of the children, if you've got an older brother, and I'm saying 40 and over, connect your son to a man that's over 40 as much as you can. Let him feel that energy that's going to direct his masculinity. Why y'all want y'all come on, can I be honest? Y'all could not handle the grandfathers of years ago in this day and time. Do y'all know how controlling y'all would say he is? Do y'all know how narcissistic y'all would say he is? Are y'all kidding me? These were not men that sought your opinion. These were shot callers. They ran the show. And the women knew. Don't question Uncle Billy. Sweetie, he has spoken. Yeah. We can ask what happened to him, but I promise you, you don't want a resurrection. So that's what happened. We're living in a day where more men, unfortunately, are being raised by women, and that's the missing ingredient. Our grandfathers was raised on hard correction, right or wrong. They got real spankings, right or wrong. They did hard time, right or wrong. Nobody cared about their feelings like we have to today to men, to boys. We have to be concerned about their emotion. Nobody did that. They was raised in a different way. They was raised with male mentors. They was raised with spiritual leadership. They was raised with military leadership. And as a result, you ended up with a different kind of man. So to the young lady who wanted to know what happened to the men today, that they seem so far apart from the men like her grandfather and great grandfather was. The difference? The men of today are not raised by men. 70% of them in the black community are raised by women. That is no shade to women. You can only do by nature what you are designed to do. But you cannot produce masculinity in a home even by force or hard structure. It is something that is passed down, as I said at the beginning, by a chain of male influence. So that's what happened. The men of today, the great majority of them are raised by women without a whole lot of males' influence consistently on their life. Got it? Good.